Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Berman, and I'm a current graduate student at the University of Texas at Arlington in the MSN program. Tonight, I wanted to share with you a book review about a recent book I read called The Mentor Leader by Tony Dungy and Nathan Whitaker. So Tony Dungy, some of you may be familiar with him. Besides being a New York Times best-selling author, he's also the first African-American NFL coach to lead the Indianapolis Colts to their 2007 Super Bowl victory. In addition to that, he achieved recognition for his leadership style by leading his team to 10 consecutive playoff seasons. He retired in 2009 from coaching, and he is now an analyst with NBC Football. He also is a husband and a father of 9 children. Nathan Whitaker, too, is a New York Times best-selling author. In addition, he is a graduate of both Duke University and Harvard Law School. He uses his gifts in football and football administration, and he too is a husband and a father of 2 children. So the purpose of this book, they wanted to teach everybody that your only job is to help your team to be better. And they did this by introducing something they called mentor leadership, and it was defined throughout this book. They taught us how to identify opportunities to build people up and motivate others to follow us, and doing that by constantly asking us the question to ask ourselves, can others flourish and grow underneath our leadership? And to teach us that success is gained by changing lives and not by gaining material possessions. The target audience for this group is really anyone who wants to be a better leader in any arena of their life. So what is mentor leadership? Mentor leadership, it's an intentional leadership approach. It's about building character. It's about shaping, nurturing, empowering, and growing individuals by finding out what our gifts are and helping them to achieve some of those same things. We want to model our attitudes and behaviors, and ultimately we want to create a legacy that can be passed on. Anyone can be taught this style, and they did this very easily by doing something they called the 7 E's for enhancing potential. First is to engage with someone, to find somebody who might benefit from your mentorship or you benefit from their mentorship, and educate. Teach them something that you know. Equip them with those tools to reach that goal. Encourage them along the way. Be their cheerleader. Empower them to go ahead and make those changes, and energize them when they feel like they just can't do it anymore. And then elevate them to the next level so they themselves can go out and mentor someone else too. Some of the strengths of this book, the techniques they described apply to all areas of our life, both personally and professionally, no matter what your team was. They also introduced biblical principles which laid a great strong foundation for this book. The stories that they shared throughout were not only relatable, but they also focused on both successes and failures so that you could see how mentor leadership could be utilized in either situation. The key steps were clearly defined, and there were action steps given at the conclusion of each one of the chapters. Some areas that could have been strengthened, there was a lot of references to football. So if football is not of big interest to you, it might have been a little bit harder to follow along. In addition, the biblical references were great for a strong foundation, but it could have been a turnoff for some if they weren't aware that that was in the book. And at times, some of the examples that they used were repeated and used for different points they were trying to make, and that was confusing. Did they meet the objectives? Absolutely. The mentor leadership was clearly defined from introduction throughout the entire book, and giving us the description of those 7 E's to enhance someone's potential really clearly defined that for us all throughout. We are definitely inspired to make a team better. We were taught how to mentor and teach someone else our gifts, what our gifts are. These techniques could be utilized personally or professionally, and the action steps were clearly defined for implementation at the end of each one of the chapters. Would I recommend this book for someone? Absolutely. It's an excellent read. It's an easy read. It's great for anyone who desires to be a better leader and an innovative leader, because it definitely has different approaches. If you're interested in sports, especially football, your interests are kept throughout as several of your favorite players and coaches are referenced in these stories. And then there's several ties to many of the biblical principles, which I myself enjoyed as well. This was a great book. I welcome any questions that you might have. Feel free to post those and I will get back to you with the answers quickly. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.